Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to deliver your September 2016 mid-month readings. As you can see from my background, I am back at my home base after having been in Eastern Europe for a month and trying to get back into the time zone here, which is somewhat of a challenge. But as those of you who follow my channel know, I continued to post and work with clients while I was away. So thank you very much for continuing to watch and listen and follow and subscribe to my channel. Your support and feedback mean a great deal to me. Very welcome, very appreciated, and keep those great comments up. I love reading how the readings play out for you in your lives, for those of you for whom they resonate. These are, of course, general readings, so they may or may not resonate for everyone who watches. Make sure you check your rising and your moon sign as well. You may find that some months and some readings, they resonate for you a little bit better. Or you may find, like I often do, that each of your three signs, sun, moon, and rising, may resonate for you in different areas of your life. So try to check all three just to get as whole and clear and definitive a picture as possible of the time span that the reading covers. Thank you to those of you who continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings, which are my favorite things to do. It is a pleasure and an honor always to read for you, and I thank you for the trust that you place in me to interpret and intuit the cards for you. And thank you to my regular clients for continuing to update me on how your lives are playing out moving forward. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. That'll give you a little more information on who I am and what I do and what I offer, and my contact information, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you if you're interested in a reading, so message me and we'll go from there. I do readings full time, so I'm able to get back with you quite quickly and schedule a reading in a pretty timely fashion. Turnaround time currently can be anywhere from 3 to 4 days to a week and a half or so, depending on whether you want it recorded or whether we have to coordinate a live reading. So anyway, moving forward, I am using the Gilded Tarot deck, as usual, by artist Cyril Marchetti. And even though we're covering the last half of the month rather than the month in its entirety, I'm still going to be using the same 8-card spread with an additional 9th card for your crowning card, representing your overall energy and advice for the remainder of the month. So let's get into this reading. This is for Gemini for September 2016 mid-month. Gemini 2016 mid-month. What does the remainder of the month of September 2016 hold for the air sign of Gemini? Gemini the twins. September 2016 mid-month. September 2016 mid-month for Gemini. Gemini the twins. Okay. Okay, Gemini, we begin with the Three of Swords, followed by the Empress, the Nine of Swords, followed by the Two of Swords. Definitely time to move on, Gemini. The Three of Wands, yes, followed by the Queen of Swords. There you are in all your glory. The Justice card, followed by the Six of Wands. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy, crowning theme, and advice is the Five of Cups, coming through loud and clear already. Let me just take a quick feel here. Yeah. It looks like, Gemini, it is really time, perhaps past time, to move on from some heartbreak and heartache that you've been holding on to, I think, for a long time, that's been causing you a lot of grief and stress. It's really time to move forward into your future and be that Queen of Swords that's showing up here in all her airy, lovely, bright glory. And I think how successful you are at it is going to depend entirely upon what you put into it, but it is really time to stop focusing on the lack and the loss and time to move on. Gosh, that about sums it up. But we're going to go through the cards anyway. Okay, Gemini, we find ourselves around the middle of September 2016 or so, time being fluid, of course, with the Three of Swords, followed by the Empress. So the Three of Swords. Swords is governed by air. It's all about that airy world of what goes on up here between our ears. It's a very cerebral, mental, intellectual suit. Not a lot of emotion attached to it. It's about words and ideas, thoughts, perspectives, outlook, how we see things, how we look at things, what we think about things. Although the Three of Swords might probably be the most emotional card in the suit of swords, it is a card of heartbreak and heartache or deep emotional disappointment. And I really feel like for a lot of you, it is heartbreak and heartache, and it's still very present in your life. It's showing up in the upright position. And I mean, this is going to play out differently depending on who's watching it, as it always does, because there's so many of you watching and everybody has different things going on in their lives. For some of you, this might be very fresh and very recent, whatever it was that this stemmed from, whatever incident or situation or relationship that this stemmed from. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is something which has happened in the past. Perhaps the recent past, the long ago past. I think for some of you, it's not recent. It's something older than that, and it's something that, but still feels quite fresh and quite present to you. Something you're still holding on to. Something that still hurts a great deal. And I'm sorry to see that for you, Gemini. But attached to that Three of Swords is the beautiful Major Arcana card of the Empress. The Empress is the traditional Earth Mother of the Tarot deck. She is all about nature, nurturing, loving, sustaining, feeding. She's all about the growing of things. She is pregnancy, rebirth, fertility, the ground being ripe, the ground being fertile. It's time to plant seeds, new seeds to begin new things. The Empress is the yes card for beginning new paths, beginning new relationships, new projects, new pathways, etc. The Empress card is a Major Arcana card, fingers of the divine, those divine energies as they represent coming in to help us, lead us, guide us, timing, divine timing and orchestration. It is time. The Empress is here to say it is time. It is time to plant the seeds. For what? It's time to begin to let go of this Three of Swords, to let go of it entirely, Gemini. Whatever it is that you've been holding on to, that this heartache, this heartbreak represents, whether it's relationship issue, a betrayal of some kind, love, romance, relationship, something to do with some kind of crushing disappointment, maybe in job or career path. And relationships, it could be romantic, sexual relationships, it could be family, best friend. It could represent the loss of something or someone in your life. Whatever it represents for you, Gemini, it's time. It's time to let go. It is time to move on and plant seeds for new beginnings, to grow and manifest new things in your life. But I feel like this is something you struggle with. And this may inherently be something that the air signs might struggle with a little bit more than the other signs, because you guys are more prone to be ruled by the head than the heart. And sometimes the emotional side of things can be quite difficult for you to reconcile. And I feel like you struggle a bit in this moving forward process, because right next to that combination we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Two of Swords. A lot of thoughts, a lot of mental energy here. The Nine of Swords is a card of a lot of mental stress, anxiety, and worry, because it's a 9. You only go up one higher than that to a 10. A lot of stress, anxiety, and worry. As you can see by the picture of this woman, she's sitting up in her bed late at night. You can see the moon's risen high in the sky. Everybody else is probably sleeping, but she's not. She's sitting up in bed. She has her arms crossed over in front of her, kind of hunched over, kind of in a protective gesture. And you can see these 9 swords interlaced, which can represent a variety of thoughts, one big thought. Again, it's a card of stress, mental anxiety, and worry, so much that it may be keeping you up at night. It may be interfering in your day-to-day activities. But there's a certain amount of the energy of the Nine of Swords that is illusionary. Not to say that, again, whatever the source of this Three of Swords energy, this heartbreak, heartache energy, wasn't real or is trivialized somewhat. But the Nine of Swords often comes up when we make something in our heads much bigger than it actually is reflected in our external environment, particularly if it's something which has happened in the past, and like this reading is clearly saying, it's time to move on from, but we keep it, we feed it. What we feed grows, and it feels like this heartbreak, this heartache, this emotional pain is something that you've been keeping, dwelling on, holding on to. For those of you for whom it represents a loss, it's often understandable. We hold on to the grief and the feelings because to us they represent a different version of what we've lost, and we don't really want to let go, so we kind of hang on to that. And this is a card that represents that, but it's too much. It's time. It's too big. We've made it too big. We've fed it just a little bit too much. You can see this little owl, excuse me, sitting on the windowsill next to her. It's very close. It's almost close enough she could reach out and touch it. And that owl, like everything on a tarot card, is symbolic. That owl is symbolic. It's one of those universal symbols of wisdom, insight, clarity, the wise old owl. Even in the childhood story Winnie the Pooh, whenever they had a question they couldn't answer, they always went to the owl because he always had an answer. Even if he didn't have an answer, he had an answer. Now, this owl so close to her represents that the answer is kind of right there. The solution, the wisdom, the insight is right there, but she can't see it. Why? Because she's focused, all of her mental and emotional energy is focused on the source of her pain, and she can't pay attention to anything else. But it needs to be dealt with. That Nine of Swords is paired with the Two of Swords. This is being stuck. This is energy of being stuck, not being able to make a decision, not being able to move forward, not being able to choose a path, blindfolded. Something's in front of you. This is in front of you that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be let go of. This represents not wanting to deal with it, feeling up until now at least unable or unwilling to deal with it, unable or unwilling to let go of what needs to be let go of, Gemini. But the fact that it's come up at this time is strongly indicating that it needs to be let go of. You've put enough emotional energy, enough mental energy, enough even physical energy in this. And it's time. It's time to move through and beyond and past it. Now, this is where the message echoes. It's time to get past and now move into the future. Because next to that, we have you moving into the future. We have you moving forward. We have you, the Queen of Swords, in all your lovely, airy, bright, clear glory. This Queen of Swords, swords, that suit governed by air, your sign. I'm really feeling this quite strongly as you, Gemini, as you at your best and your finest, in your finest hour. It's all about facing this head on, taking that blindfold off, looking at it, giving it one last kiss and waving goodbye. It's time to let go. You can keep the best of the memories and take them with you as you move forward and leave the heartache and the heartbreak behind. It's time to get unstuck. That's what the Queen of Swords would do. She would use that beautiful, bright, clear, intelligent energy to propel herself forward, because kings and queens represent individuals who have reached the mastery of their suit, the full achievement of all the character traits of the suit that they govern. And in this case, it's the suit of swords, of air. This is words, ideas, thoughts, perspectives, outlook, how you look at this, how you've been looking at this, seeing this, where you've put it in your head. It's time to shift. It's time to move forward. It's time to come into the best of the power of the character traits that you already possess, Gemini, and it's time to move forward. She is crowned by the Three of Wands. Now, Wands is a suit that is governed by fire. It's action-oriented, active. It's about change, movement, action, power, forward moving. It's about creating, building, manifest. It is the opposite of this energy of the Two of Swords of being stuck. It is about planting seeds for the future, doing everything you can to build a foundation for the future. It is a more minor echo of the Empress energy in a way. It's about being at a place where you have done all the work you can do. You've planted the seeds that need to be planted. You've put the fertilizer down. You've done the homework. You've done the research. You've done the work. And now it's about waiting to see what the outcome is. More gestative patience energy, but still forward moving, because it's about the future. It's about what you're building for the future and moving forward for the future. So this combination of cards is beautiful, Gemini, and it is yours to own. Letting go and moving forward. Now, at or towards the end of the month, we have Justice card, Major Arcana card, paired with the Six of Wands. So Justice, another major arcana card, divine, profound energies and advice going on here. The Justice card is the card that says you reap what you sow. What you put into something is exactly what you're going to put out of it. And this is something that Queen of Swords would understand very well. It's logic and clarity and wisdom and insight she can really get behind because it makes sense. Justice is blind and fairly emotionally impartial, particularly in the justice system, like in a trial. The outcome and decision handed down is supposed to be based entirely on the facts, the logic, the proven motivations, the information, not a decision based on emotions or feelings. This is a card which in the upright position also represents if any of you are going through a legal situation of some kind, the outcome will most likely be in your favor. But it's a card that says that what effort you put into something is what you're going to get back. There's also an undercurrent of a moral theme about the Justice card too. It says that however you move through something, whatever you put into something, the honor and integrity that you put into it, is what's going to get back. It's more karmic as well. So if you go into, if you put into it honor, trust, integrity, etc., and moving through and away from this rather than in kind of a vindictive, mean way, which isn't really moving forward at all, that's what you're going to get back. What you reap is what you sow. Basically, it's saying that how well you're able to move through and beyond this depends on how dedicated, how willing you are to actually let go and move forward. It's going to determine your success at this. But that success could be astounding, and it looks like maybe around the third week or so, or even towards at the very end, you kind of get this. It kind of gets pulled together for you, and you are successful at it. But it does depend on how willing you are to go through it, to let go of it. That Justice card is paired with the Six of Wands, which is a card of triumph, success, but triumph and success that comes from overcoming and achieving that which you set out to do. You can see this man is riding back into town, and I say back because otherwise who is he? Why are the crowds cheering him? He went off to do something. I don't know, rescue a dragon, slay a dragon, rescue a princess, let go of some heartbreak and heartache and emotional pain, and move forward into his future, perhaps. He went off, he did it. Whatever he struggled with, whatever he had to face, whatever he had to go through, he did. And he was successful, triumphant. He's riding back into town, and the crowds are praising and cheering and clapping and giving him accolades. It's also a card of being recognized for your efforts as well. For some of you, I think it's a smaller portion of you, but for those of you who are going through some kind of legal process which has caused an awful lot of stress and heartbreak, it looks like you will be successful, and at the end that it will be in your favor, any legal decisions, outcomes, etc. But I think for the larger portion of you, even if it has to do with that situation, there is a lot of thought going on here along with this heartbreak and emotional pain. And the advice is strongly oriented towards it really, really, really being time to move through this and let this thing go once and for all. And how successful you are at doing that is entirely dependent on how willing you are to let go. Now your crowning card, your overall energy and advice, is the Five of Cups. Same theme, same energy. This is a card basically about being stuck in the past, being stuck, focusing only on the negative, focusing only on the loss, what you've lost, what's been taken away from you, etc. You can see this man is sunk down on his knees in the grass, and he's grieving. All his attention and focus is on these three cups that are tipped over and spilled out. He's focused only on what no longer is, on what he no longer has, what he's lost, what's been taken away from him. But this is not the Three of Cups, this is the Five of Cups. Right behind him are these two beautiful golden glowing goblets, still upright, still full, which represent things in his environment that are still beautiful, things still to be grateful for. They could also potentially represent opportunities which may come around or which may be coming around that you may miss, opportunities for new beginnings, for happiness and joy, because you're focused only on the lack, only on the negative. Very strong and clear message for you for the remainder of September 2016 and moving into October, Gemini. It is time to utilize that beautiful, bright mind that you have to work with and shift how you've you look at this, whatever the source of this is, how you have been. Because again, I feel like it's something that a lot of you have been hanging on to for some time. And perhaps it's because the pain of that loss is something that you've been willing to live with, because letting go of it would mean letting go of what it is that you've already really lost, which is not all that reality-based a perception, and one that you, with that beautiful air energy and that beautiful intellectual, logical energy you have, are totally capable of working through. You show up in your own reading, Gemini, very powerful sign, and with the Three of Wands, forward moving, it's all about your future. I feel like you have the ability to be successful in doing this. It's just really dependent on how committed and willing you are to do it. But your overall crowning message is there's a time to honor the pain and loss that we have, but then there's a time where it comes, we need to cut the balloon strings and wave goodbye to it and move on. You can still take the best of what it was with you and leave the pain, the majority of the pain and the negative behind, and just take whatever positive things and whatever lessons that you've learned with you. And again, for those of you for whom this represents something that's attached to a legal situation, it does look like the outcome will be in your favor quite strongly at or towards the end of September or moving into the beginning of October. So Gemini, a powerful and somewhat emotional reading in some spots. It looks like you struggle a bit in the beginning, but the ending is quite beautiful, and the message is so very, very clear. So I hope that you've enjoyed it, or if not enjoyed it, at least found it useful. Maybe it validated what you already knew. I hope you gained some wisdom and insight and clarity from it, because that's why we do these readings. And if any of you, again, are interested in a personal one-on-one reading, please send me an email at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be very happy to work with you in whatever situation you might be seeking guidance and advice from the universal energies from. So thank you very much for watching, Gemini, and I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the October 2016 general readings, and I cannot believe it's almost October already. So as I always say, Gemini, and I always mean, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.